Hi everyone, welcome to Aussizz Conclave 4.0. We hope that you're excited to know all about marketing and HR occupation, courses, and its PR pathway. So now, get ready to meet the experts who will guide you through your journey today. Starting with Nanika Gaur, an education consultant at Aussizz Group who brings nearly 4 years of experience in the education industry. Now next is Neha Singh. She brings a wealth of experience and a commitment to excellence to her role as migration agent. Now, next up is Sanya Shah. She is a driven and a dedicated registered migration agent at Town Hall, Sydney. Next up is Alpesh Patel, an experienced registered migration agent specializing in immigration law and visa services. That's all, folks. Relax and enjoy the session. You are in good hands. Let's get started. Over to you, Nanika.
Courses. Now, to begin with, let's understand first what is marketing. As you can see, I've also written it here that marketing is the process of understanding or identifying what customers need and then creating from and promoting such products or services. It is about delivering value to the customers that encourages them to choose your product over others. Let's look into what is HR or human resource. HR is the department in an organization which manages everything related to employees, including hiring, training and development, as well as ensuring a productive and positive work environment. If we look into the benefits of studying marketing, of course, the first benefit would be that it influences brand and corporate strategy. Second, we can look into it that it helps to understand customers and successfully target their needs. Also, you can learn the fundamentals of advertising, market research, and global marketing through studying the marketing courses. You can also gain an understanding of marketing tools such as segmentation, positioning, sustainable leadership, and customer value. All of these topics are briefly discussed in the marketing courses when you choose to undertake them. Looking into the benefits of studying HR courses, HR courses enables you to create a high performance and positive work environment. It also helps you to analyze employee performance and developing strong organizational culture. You can also learn to forecast future skill and capability needs and put that into practice. You get an opportunity to collaborate with various people from different social and cultural backgrounds through undertaking these courses. And you also get a chance to plan and create career development programs for the employees or the workforce in your organization. Let's of marketing and HR. So I've listed down few of the courses is like Diploma of Marketing and Communications, Bachelor's of Marketing like and specializing in marketing, or Bachelor of Commerce specializing in marketing, Bachelor of Business specializing in digital marketing, specializing in human resource management, Masters of Marketing, Masters of Commerce specializing in marketing, and Masters of Human Resource Management. A lot of times you can also study a diploma and then you can take and you can get up to 1 or 1.5 years of credits into the bachelor's program. So if you hold a diploma of marketing, you can choose to business specializing in marketing or straight away bachelor of marketing and get up to 1 or 1.5 years of credits into the bachelor's course. Now, let's find out how you can search the right marketing course for you. So first, you can first determine what you want to achieve, whether it's learning the basics, which usually you can learn through certificate and diploma courses, or if you want to specialize in a specific marketing field, such as digital marketing or traditional marketing, you can also undertake those specific courses which specialize in these fields. You can research courses offered by reputed institutions. You can also look for accredited courses or the institutions that provide accredited courses. You can look for courses that offer career support services like internships and job placements, as a lot of times there are some universities and education providers where if you do a marketing course, they do help you with internships and job placements, which is a really good add-on to your marketing course. If we look into the career outcomes and opportunities of marketing and human resources, Let's start with marketing. So the first job when you have finished your marketing course can be as a marketing coordinator, media planner, or a marketing account executive. And in 5 to 10 years, you could also progress into the below mentioned roles such as brand or product manager, strategic marketing consultant, consumer insights specialist, market research and analyst, social media digital marketing specialist, or a creative director. Moving on to the human resource career outcome and opportunities, you can get your first job as a human resource assistant, as an HR coordinator advisor, or as a human resource administrator. And in 5 to 10 years, you could progress into the roles of human resource specialist, workplace relations officer, human resources officer, human resource manager, people and culture manager, and human resource business partner. You can see the general course entry requirements and fees. The fees is on the next slide. So just the general course entry requirements are mentioned on this slide. For bachelor's, it's minimum overall band of 6.5, and in no module, you should have a band or score of 6.0. For master's, the overall band is 6.5, and again, with no individual band below 6.0. They also accept PT, which is why I have mentioned IELTS or equivalent for entry. Marketing fee structure starts from 30K and goes up to 70K. Marketing, it starts from 62K. Human resource management, it the 3K and goes up to 130,000. Resource management, it starts from 50K and goes up to 89K. Not mention the diploma fees here, but it can range between 12K to 24K approximate. All of the fees that have been displayed are in approximate amounts. These are the education providers that you can consider if you choose to study or undertake a marketing program, which is Victoria University, Swinburne University, Charles Sturt University, Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, also popularly known as RMIT, Deakin University. So for any of these, you can reach out to us and we can help you with your applications. Now, and this number is expected to grow by 1,600. This increase represents an additional 19,300 jobs in the HR management field alone, which is why I have named this slide HR Industry on the Boom. And in terms of human resource professionals, the current number employed stands at 76,900. Over the same 5-year period, the demand for these professionals is expected to grow by 13.1%, leading to an estimated total of 89,100 jobs by 2026. All of this data, again, as I mentioned, is taken by the National Skills Commission. Now, looking into the job market statistics of marketing professionals, currently there are 95,700 professionals employed in this field. The female share of which is 57%, and they earn around $1,800 weekly. If we look into the median age, that is 36, and the annual employment growth is 4,400, which means, so the annual employment growth is 4,400. It means that each year, 44,000 marketing jobs are added to the workforce. Moving on to the market statistics of HR professionals, the current employed HR professionals are around 97,000, and the female share of it is 57%. They earn a median weekly earnings of 2,946, and the annual employment growth is 3,100, which means 3,100 jobs are added annually to the HR professional workforce. We'll have a quick look into the salary levels or the remuneration levels. So starting with human resource, the average salary is around 100,000 per year, and looking into the entry level positions, people earn around 82 to 83,000 per year. And about marketing salary and remuneration levels, the average salary is 90,000 per year, and the entry level positions earn up to approximately $71,459 per year.
Yes. So thank you, Nanika. Thank you for sharing such an insightful information about the marketing and HR courses. So, yes, everyone, marketing and HR occupations are still in demand in Australia. People say that we have done our management in MBA in marketing on HR. We are not able to find the occupations or the PR options. But it is not so. People who have done their and they are meeting the requirements for their experience in those nominated occupations. Definitely pathways are there, but you need to meet the requirements for those PR occupation pathways. So before we start, I would just like to share my screen and share what which are these are the popular marketing and HR occupations. First is marketing specialist, HR, human resource advisor, human resource manager, management consultant, sales and marketing manager, hotel motor manager, cafe restaurant manager, and a managing director. So now all these occupations, as Nanika has told, are in demand in Australia, and they are very high profile occupations. Means you need to work at those specific of those occupations. You should have those skill sets working as manager. Only pathways. So these occupations are very highly professional occupation. They are highly paid occupations as well, as Nanka has told you. But for these occupations, the only thing is that you should have a specific qualification and relevant experience in your nominated occupation to be eligible to meet the PR pathway for yourself. So now we will be discussing now there are different things. Say for example, we have a client who has done a masters of business administration in marketing. Their field of study is specifically in marketing, and they have experienced post study 1 year experience, and they have worked as a marketing specialist. Then their nominated occupation would be marketing specialist. They would qualify for that experience. And if someone has done their MBA in HR, human resource, and they have post-study experience into their into their nominated occupation, they can go for HR manager as their PR options. They can proceed with that thing. But before we proceed, we have to go for the, as you all of you know, for the GSM visas, we require skill assessment. So to get skill assessment into these particular occupations, you have to get your qualification plus your experience assessed from the relevant assessing authority. So for all these occupations, the major assessing authorities would be Vet Assess and IML. So I'll be discussing what is skill assessment. So first of all, skill assessment is the assessment of the qualification and the experience whichever you are having in your nominated occupation to be assessed by the relevant authority at an Australian AQF level. That if means whatever you have studied and whatever experience you have, it should match the Australian qualification framework. If that is the case, then yes, you are eligible to get your skill assessment. And once your skill assessment is done, then you are ready to start your PR pathway. So now, first of all, we will be discussing the first assessing authority for most of these occupations, HR and marketing occupations. So first occupation is Vet Assess. So Vet Assess is responsible for most of the prominent occupations like marketing specialist, market HR advisor, recruitment consultant, management consultant, and hotel motel manager and cafe restaurant manager. So now, when you are going for a skill assessment with Vet Assess, say as a marketing specialist, the things we need to be keeping in mind is that your qualification should match that of an marketing specialist, and apart from your qualification, your experience should be highly relevant to your nominated occupation. So now, Vet Assess requires for a marketing specialist, they require bachelor's or higher degree. That qualification should be in a high field highly relevant to your nominated occupation. Means if you have done masters in business administration specializing in marketing, then yes, you are eligible for the skill assessment through Vet Assess as a marketing specialist. You have to keep in mind when we are going for a skill assessment from Vet Assess, To get a successful skill assessment outcome from VET assess as positive, we need both qualification and the employment to be assessed by VET assess. Way for the skill assessment employment things. Now, in addition to your qualification, your employment criteria would be that if you have highly relevant bachelor's or master's relevant to your nominated occupation, you should have at least 1 year of post study employment in highly relevant to your nominated occupation. That experience should be minimum 20 hours per week. It should be undertaken in the last 5 years, and it should be highly relevant to your nominated occupation. Now, we sometimes get questions from our clients if our qualifications are not highly relevant to our nominated occupation, but we do have experience into our nominated occupation, then would we be able to get a positive skill assessment? So this, in that case, I would like to say, in that case also, yes, VET assess would assess you as positive for the skill assessment for marketing specialist. For example, if you have done marketing MBA in not specializing in marketing, but you have 3 years of highly relevant experience as a marketing specialist, which should be post study undertaken in the last 5 years and minimum 20 hours per week, then yes, you would be able to get a positive skill assessment from VET assess. So we have to keep in mind the qualification and the experience should be highly relevant, but it is not the case. If your qualification is not highly relevant, we would not be able to get through VET assess. But in that case, your requirements for work experience might increase a little bit. You have to meet those experience is highly relevant, then definitely VET assess would be able to give you a positive skill assessment. Now, coming to the next assessing authority for most of the HR occupations would be IML, which is Institute of Managers and Leaders. So now, for example, I have done my master's MBA in human resource, and I have 3 years of experience highly relevant to HR occupation. Then my assessing authority would be IML, Institute of Managers and Leaders. Says that if you are going for an HR manager skill assessment through them, you should have a relevant bachelor's or master's degree comparable to an equivalent AQF level qualification, and the applicant must demonstrate that you should have employment experience in an HR related role in the last 3 years, and you should have worked as an HR manager in the last 2 years out of those 3 years. But if in case your master's or bachelor's is not comparable to the AQF level, then in that case your requirements for the experience would increase to 5 years. It means you should have HR related roles in the last 5 years, and out of those 2 years you should have worked as an HR manager. So these are the two assessing authorities which would be governing most of the marketing and HR roles, occupation skill assessment. Now, coming to the next thing, now people come to us asking that what is the use of getting multiple skill assessments. So I would just like to say that if you have qualification into different streams, for example, you have done your bachelor's in engineering, in say mechanical engineering, and after that you have done masters in business administration specializing in marketing, and you meet the requirements for the skill assessment as a marketing specialist post study, then you have two options for you. You can go for a skill assessment based upon your bachelor's, which can be which is from Engineers Australia into engineering occupations. Plus, you can go for the skill assessment from VET assess as a marketing specialist. So that will solve you purpose. It will give you more options and will make you eligible for more options to apply for. So yes, multiple skill assessments will definitely be an added benefit for you to look into your PR options. Now, coming to the work experience, people come to us as I told you, for IML and VET assess, we require certain work experience undertaken post study after your qualification has been completed. That is a must, because that experience would be will be making you eligible for your skill assessment, as well as that experience will add on weightage to you being invited for the different GSM visas like 190, 491, and 190 also. Plus, you will be meeting the state requirements for the state nominated visas like 190 and 491. Apart from this, if you GSM visas are not working for you and you're still working in your nominated occupation, those experience gained in the past would make you eligible for employer sponsored visas like 482, 494, or 186 employer sponsored visas as well. So it's very important that apart from gaining qualification, you should have experience in your nominated occupation. So this was about the occupations and the skill assessments. After this, we will be covering the state requirements for these occupations with different state. What are the requirements for different states for 190 and 491? So I will pass on to Sanya. She will be discussing the state requirements for New South Wales. So yes, Sanya.
Thank you, Neha, for explaining the skills assessment process.
Thank you.
Because as this is the first step towards your permanent residency, because after the skill assessment comes the next step, that is lodging your expression of interest. Now, each state has different requirements. So we will be covering each state for your better understanding. So we are starting with NSW right now. So marketing and HR occupations are generally falls under the short-term list, which means they're eligible for 190 and 491 both. Now for NSW under 190, NSW requirements are pretty simple. That is, you need to stay in NSW for a minimum of 6 months of residency, and then you'll be eligible to apply for an expression of interest. Please make sure that the residency requirement is continuous. For example, if someone has stayed here for 6 months and then have moved for 3 months and then came back to NSW, they have to start their 6 months of residency from zero. And to meet the residency requirement, you need to demonstrate your residency requirement with bank statements. That is the main document that is required to demonstrate your residency in NSW. Now, if you're offshore, then you need to demonstrate your 6 months of residency offshore, and then you will be eligible to apply for an expression of interest in NSW. So if you're moving permanently to offshore after your stay in Australia, then you'll have to wait for 6 months and then apply for an expression of interest. Now, with going forward with 491, that is the regional subclass, there are two pathways under that. Pathway 1 are for those applicants who are living and working in regional NSW. So you have to live and work for 6 months in work with a single employer, and your minimum requirement of hours must be 38, and you must maintain a salary of 70,000. That is the threshold limit. That is going to be updated from 1st of July to 73,150. So if you have done this for minimum of 6 months in regional NSW with single employer, then you'll be eligible to apply for a direct application to the NSW. You don't have to wait for an invite. You will have to just meet the eligibility of 6 months working with the employer, then you will be eligible to apply for a direct application. Also, they have given an option that if you're not working 38 hours and if you're working less than that, for example, you're working 20 hours, that is part-time, then your salary must be 70,000 according to the pro rata wise. The annual income should come to 70,000 pro rata wise. So that's for the 491 pathway 1. Under pathway 2, you are eligible to apply. That is, if you're living in Sydney for a minimum of 3 months, you can apply for a EOI for pathway 2 for 491. And once invited, then only you have to move to a regional area. So for pathway 2, everyone living in NSW are eligible, and those living offshore are eligible with minimum of 3 months of residency offshore. There are certain key requirements for NSW that you need to keep in mind. That is, you need to make sure that you claim your employment after the deemed date. That is the main requirement for NSW to be invited if you're claiming employment points. And as per the last financial years, like the current financial year's trend, the NSW had targeted sectors such as nursing, education, agriculture, construction industry mainly. We didn't see much invitations for marketing and HR in the last financial year. However, there were few invitations at higher points, that is at 95, because NSW mainly focuses on those applicants who have superior English and more years of experience. So if you're thinking and interested to apply for an EOI in NSW, my main advice would be to secure a superior English and gain as much experience as possible and make sure you meet the other requirements for the NSW. So that was for the NSW state requirements. We can go forward for the.
So I have a question, Sanya, for you. If if an applicant is in Australia on a visitor visa, would they be eligible for the New South Wales nomination?
So NSW requires a residency requirement, and those who are on a tourist visa does not meet the residency requirement because they don't meet the definition of a resident being in NSW, because that's just a tourist visa purpose.
Sure.
So it has to be any other visa, but not the tourist visa to stay here. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. So after this Victoria state nomination, I'll be taking up after Sanya. So thank you, Sanya, for sharing the state requirements for New South Wales. Now coming to Victoria, Victoria at present is closed for the financial year for this financial year for the ROIs. Now discussing the state nomination for 190 for onshore applicants, the requirements are that you should be living in Victoria. You can be living either in regional or metro region. You should be working either in your nominated occupation, but it is not required that you should be working in your nominated occupation. It can be any skill level 1 to 3 job, or you cannot be working, but it is always good that you should have a job in your nominated or closely related occupation. If you are claiming, if you're working in your nominated occupation or any skill level 1 to 3 job, then you are claiming annual earning in your ROIs. So when any earnings you are claiming must be from skilled employment in Australia. Means you should have been working in your own field, nominated field, or it can be skill level 1 to 3 job. Now coming to 190 offshore applicants, you must be committed to live in Victoria. You will need to have a valid skill assessment and an English score to apply for the EOI and ROI, but there is no need to claim the annual earnings in your ROI as an offshore applicant. Now coming to 491 Victoria, onshore applicants, they must be living and should be employed either in their nominated occupation or skill level 1 to 3 job in regional area. Means your employer should also be in regional Victoria. If you are claiming points for if you're claiming earnings for your work in your nominated or skill level 1 to 3, you have to justify it. You have to provide the documents for that annual earning, whatever you have been, but it should be in your nominated or skill level 1 to 3 job. Now if you are an offshore applicant and you're looking forward to apply for 491 Victoria, you should be offshore. You cannot claim annual earning in your ROIs, and you have to say that Victoria is now we will add on to this that Victoria is prioritizing offshore candidates for the occupations in health, social services and education. So if you are working someone who is working offshore and they have skill assessment, you're meeting the requirements for the state as an offshore applicant, and you are related to healthcare or social service or education, then yes, Victoria have chances to be for you to be invited for 491. At present, Victoria is closed for this financial year. Victoria is open for all the occupations. There is no specific SOL list for Victoria. So yes, all the occupations are eligible for Victoria 491. Now passing on to Sanya for the next Queensland. So Sanya, you'll take up for Queensland.
Sure. So Coming to Queensland, Queensland has three main categories. Like they have divided into graduate stream for those who have studied from Queensland. Then second is the workers who in Queensland, those who have moved there as a skilled worker. And the third is the small business owners for those who are interested in running a business. Now, Queensland is closed for this financial year. However, we can make sure that we at least are ready with the requirements for the next financial year round and invitation. Now, for Queensland, for 190, especially for the skilled worker category, your minimum points must be 75. And if you are from a trade occupation such as cook, chef, etc., your minimum points must be at least 70. You must have your occupation in the Home Affairs list and have a competent English to be eligible. Now, for 190, you must have a minimum work experience of 3 months, that is full time, with a minimum of 30 hours per week. And once you are invited, then you must demonstrate your evidence that you have an ongoing full time employment for the next 12 months. This can be demonstrated by an employment contract or job offer from the employer. And lastly, Queensland is a very committed state. That is, you need to demonstrate your commitment of living and working in Queensland for the next 2 years. And that has to be done with a commitment statement once you are invited. Now, going with the 491, that's a regional visa. The minimum points required for that is 65. And same, the occupation must be listed in the Home Affairs list. And you must have a competent English or higher to be eligible. Now for work experience, how for 190 you required a 3 months requirement. However, for 491, you must be living and working in regional Queensland and must have a full-time employment, that is for a minimum of 30 hours per week in your nominated occupation. And at the time of invitation, you will have to demonstrate that you have an ongoing employment for the next 3 months, for the next 6 months in a regional Queensland for a minimum of 30 hours per week, a full-time requirement. Over here as well, you need to demonstrate your commitment towards the state, that is for the next 3 years from the date of the visa grant. Now coming to the next slide, that is the graduate stream for the students who are working in a graduate stream. Yeah. So those who have completed their studies, for that you have to maintain the minimum points of 75, and you must be living in Queensland and have your occupation be eligible on the Home Affairs list. You must complete your 100% of studies in Queensland. It cannot be like if you have completed one semester from NSW and then move to Queensland, you won't be eligible under graduate stream because 100% of the studies must be completed from the Queensland. And you must be graduated in the last 2 years. Now, same for 491, just the points requirement, the minimum points requirement is 65, and you must be living in a regional area with an occupation listed on the Home Affairs list. You must complete 100% of your studies in Queensland and graduated in the last 2 years. Now, there are certain requirements for each level of qualification studied. For example, those who have completed a doctorate or a PhD graduates, they don't need a job offer to be eligible for the graduate stream. However, for those under master's graduate and the STEM courses such as engineering, science, technology, mathematics, they require employment of full-time, minimum 30 hours per week in the nominated occupation. And those who have studied other master graduates and bachelor graduates will also have to meet an additional requirement of maintaining a GPA. For example, for 190, you need to maintain a GPA of 6.0 plus a job offer, full-time job offer for a minimum of 30 hours. For a 491, you need to maintain a minimum GPA of 5.0 and plus a full-time job offer for a minimum of 30 hours per week. So that is for the graduate stream. Now coming to the small business owners in a regional Queensland. Yes. So for small business owners, those who are interested in running a business, this is a very good pathway for securing your invitation under 491. First, you will require a skills assessment to be eligible under 491. Second, your occupation must be eligible in the Home Affairs list. Third, you need to make sure that you must provide evidence that you are living in regional Queensland because you'll be running your business in regional Queensland specifically. And the person who is running the business must be working for the business full time, that is for the minimum of 30 hours per week. You must own the business for at least 100% ownership, and the location of the business must be regional Queensland. Now, there are other certain requirements that you need to meet. That is, you need to invest for a minimum of 1 lakh and you need to operate the business for a minimum of 6 months to be eligible for that pathway. But we have seen a lot of clients getting invitations under this pathway. So if you are interested in running a business, you can think for this option because this might give you a very good, secure you an invitation within 6 months after meeting the requirement. Now, Queensland, we have seen that regarding marketing and HR qualifications in the last financial years, many invitations were received under graduate stream. So people who have studied under from Queensland can secure an invitation under graduate stream. And also they are focusing on other occupation titles as well, mainly like, for example, advertising specialist, if you are eligible, other than marketing specialist. So all these occupations have been received an invite. So that was for the Queensland.
So next I'll be taking after Sanya for South Australia state nomination. So coming to South Australia state nomination requirements for 190 and 491, South Australia have 4 streams, which is the South Australia graduate, working in South Australia, highly skilled and talented stream, and the offshore applicants. Now, first coming to the South Australia graduates, the international graduates who have studied in South Australia may be eligible for state nomination as skilled migrants faster than any other candidates. If you are an international graduate and if you have completed your studies from a CRICOS register, which is 46 weeks minimum CRICOS register course college, you are a graduate, you have to complete minimum 50% of your course in South Australia. And once you complete, you have to work for 6 months full time, that is 30 hours per week in your nominated or closely related occupation. And you should have been residing in South Australia from the last 12 months. So if you are meeting all these requirements and your occupation is on the South Australia graduate list, you are meeting the requirements for 190 and 491. You can register your interest and wait for the invitation. Then coming working in South Australia, people who have particular skilled migrants who are living and working in South Australia from the last 12 months, and they have been working in their nominated or closely related occupation from the last 6 months full time. They are eligible to apply for the 19491 South Australia and wait for the nomination. They have to register along with their skills and other requirements they are meeting. But for the South Australia graduates and working in South Australia candidates, this stream is open to people who are themselves in South Australia and been living from the last 12 months. The third stream is highly skilled and talented stream. If you are a highly skilled migrant who can contribute their demonstrated talent and or support innovation in South Australia, they can register their interest in South Australia under this path. To apply for this highly skilled and talented stream, you can be in South Australia, you can be interstate, or you can be an offshore applicant. So for you, for if you are getting a work offer, if you are getting some offer from South Australia, in that case, your employer should have been established in South Australia from the last 12 months. They should be physically present in South Australia from the last 12 months. They should have a turnover of 4 millions. But if the business from where you are getting a job offer, they are located in outer regional South Australia, then these turnover exemptions are there. They do not need to meet these turnover exemptions. And the other thing we have to keep in mind applying for highly skilled talent stream is that your business should have a good standing and there should not be any adverse information about the business. And apart from this, if you have 2 years of experience either onshore, offshore, or interstate in artificial intelligence, there are certain streams like artificial intelligence, data science, robotics, renewable energy, 5G networking, advanced manufacturing. Then you can consider applying under this stream. And if you have experience working in defense or space industry, then yes, this is the best stream for you to apply for the state nomination. After that comes the offshore applicants. If you are meeting the skill assessment requirements, the age requirements, and the point requirements, and you have experience under certain skills, then you can apply through expression of interest as an option. If you are invited, then you have to provide the documents for whatever points you have claimed within 14 days, and after the approval of your nomination, you can apply for the visa. So these are the four basic streams for applying for South Australia. After this, we will be going to the next state, which is Northern Territory. In NT, now there are two streams, the NT graduates and the other NT residents. So if you are a graduate of Northern Territory, I mean, you have completed one or more qualifications in NT, for then you have to demonstrate a genuine need, and you have to demonstrate making an effort to get an employment in your nominated occupation with an employer in NT and in your closely related or nominated occupation, then you can be eligible for 491 Northern Territory. But if you are not a graduate of Northern Territory, if you are residing there, you must be holding a temporary work visa with work rights and residing in Northern Territory. You should be living from the last 12 months and working from the last 6 months full time in your nominated occupation in NT or in any critical sector like health, age, disability, education, and hospitality. Your employer must have a record of trading in NT from the last 12 months. But if you have a position that are based at serviced office spaces or involve hot desk arrangements, will generally not be considered favorable for the state nomination. These are the requirements for the Northern Territory. So we'll pass on to Alpesh. He will be taking up the state requirements for 190 and 491 for West Australia. So yes, Alpesh.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for being with us. I'll be not taking a long time of yours. For Western Australia, there are two streams, general stream and graduate stream. To be considered under graduate stream, you must have completed 2 years qualification in Western Australia. For the general stream, there are two, Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. For Schedule 1, it's only for health-related occupation, and Schedule 2 is for the remaining occupation. There are many occupations which are listed under graduate stream. However, they are not under general stream. So obviously the occupation must be checked before you plan to apply for WA EOI. There is no matrix, there is no ROI for Western Australia. As long as you have submitted your expression of interest form and selected WA to be invited for, then you should be fine. Giving a bit more information on graduate stream doesn't need any experience, doesn't need any job offer letter. Whereas under general stream, Schedule 1, which is health-related occupation, you must have at least 12 months experience. That can be onshore or offshore after your qualification. And if you are invited for surplus 190, you will require to produce 6 months job offer letter. Whereas for surplus 491, you don't need any job offer letter for general stream. The experience is still required under general stream Schedule 1. For the general stream, you do need job offer letter for the 6 months for surplus 190, but not required for surplus 491. No prior experience is required for that one. At the moment, building and construction related industry, they don't need any job offer letter, even though they are under general stream. So if the requirement change in the next year, next financial year, we obviously don't know yet. Most probably it won't in the way how it's in demand. Going quickly on the next one, which is about ACT, Australian Capital Territory. In addition to expression of interest form, you need to submit the Canberra matrix as well for surplus 190 or 491. They have a separate requirement for that one for surplus 491. For an example, the common criteria is that your occupation must be in their ACT critical list. which is similar for surplus 190 as well. For onshore applicant, the applicant must be residing in ACT for the 3 months before they be eligible for the Canberra matrix. Whereas for surplus 190, that requirement is 6 months. For offshore applicant, they need 1 year full-time experience. 190, that experience is 3 years full-time post-qualification within past 5 years.
Hope it was an insightful session for you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for joining.